In the bloodiest battles of World War II, survival depended on firepower, on speed, on who pulled the trigger first. But one American soldier went to war carrying no weapon at all. No rifle, no pistol, not even a knife. The Army believed he was a liability. His fellow soldiers called him a coward, and yet, on one single night, he saved more lives than most soldiers did in an entire war. This is the story of the man who refused to kill and became one of the greatest heroes in American military history. Desmond Doss grew up during the Great Depression. His family was poor, but deeply religious. From a young age, faith shaped the way he saw the world. One commandment in particular guided his entire life: "Thou shalt not kill." When World War II erupted, millions of young Americans answered the call to serve. Desmond did too. He believed it was his duty to help his country. But he also believed that taking a life was never justified. So when he arrived at boot camp, he made a decision that stunned everyone around him. He would go to war, he would serve on the front lines. But he would never carry a weapon. To the U.S. Army, this made no sense. A soldier who wouldn't fight was seen as useless, or worse, dangerous. Training camp quickly became a nightmare. Other soldiers mocked him. They insulted him. Some even beat him in his sleep. They believed that when the fighting started, he would hesitate and get them killed. Officers tried everything to remove him: psychological evaluations, punishments, endless pressure to quit. At one point, he was brought before a military court. But Desmond never backed down. He didn't refuse war. He refused violence. Eventually, the Army found a compromise. He would serve as a combat medic, unarmed, on the front line. Most believed it was only a matter of time before fear broke him. They were wrong. In 1945, American forces landed on the island of Okinawa. What awaited them was hell. The Japanese army had transformed the island into a fortress, hidden bunkers, artillery buried underground, snipers everywhere. One location became infamous above all others: a massive cliff, later known as Hacksaw Ridge. Soldiers were forced to climb it under constant enemy fire. Many never reached the top. Those who did often didn't come back down. Entire units were destroyed in a matter of hours. This was where Desmond Doss would face his true test. One night, after days of brutal fighting, the order was given: retreat. The wounded were left behind. Most soldiers pulled back, believing anyone still alive on the ridge was already lost. But Desmond stayed, alone, unarmed, surrounded by enemy forces. As darkness fell, he moved through smoke and fire, searching for survivors. He dragged wounded men across shattered ground. He treated injuries under gunfire, and one by one, he lowered them down the cliff using a rope. Each time, before turning back, he whispered the same prayer: "Lord, help me save one more." Again and again, he returned to the battlefield. Bullets passed within inches of him. Explosions shook the ground beneath his feet. Still, he refused to leave. By the time dawn arrived, dozens of soldiers had been pulled from certain death. Men who once mocked him now trusted him with their lives. Some later said they refused to advance unless Desmond Doss was with them. When the battle ended, estimates ranged from 75 to more than 100 lives saved by one man without firing a single shot. The same soldiers who once called him a coward now saluted him. In October of 1945, Desmond Doss was awarded the Medal of Honor, not for killing the enemy, but for saving humanity in the middle of chaos. After the war, Desmond never called himself a hero. He lived quietly, carried invisible scars, rarely spoke about what he had done. His story reminds us that courage does not always roar. Sometimes courage is quiet. It kneels, it prays, and it refuses to hate. Because the strongest weapon on any battlefield is not a gun. It is mercy.